everybody, and welcome to Two Goals. I'm Katia,
And I'm Maria Laura.
and today marks a new episode from the Leadership Women Football Series, this time directly from Ecuador, with Sylvia Maria Meneses Echeverria. Sylvia is a lawyer and sports manager with experience in journalism, communication, broadcasting, marketing, and businesses, and she will be telling us her story on how she became a reference in Ecuador within the sports management industry. Sylvia, welcome to Two Goals.
Hi, Katia, Maria. Thank you. For me, it's an honor to be here and to hear like my story, because sometimes you see that like in the everyday things, and you tend to forget what you have done and the path that you have come. So it's important to remember that, and it will be for me an honor to can tell my story to every girl, women outside the world, and if it can help at least one person, it will be like mission accomplished.
Now let's start talking about you, as you, you said, but from the beginning. So, and we always start our episodes asking our guests how they connected with football and how was their relationship with the sport since they grew up. In your case specifically, you've mentioned before the role of your parents, not only in your engagement with football, but regarding your possibility of choosing what you felt was your right path to follow. So, can you tell us a bit more about your connection with the game and your parents' empowerment? And what do you think that in a country like Ecuador, do you think girls are nowadays empowered to pursue their dreams freely?
You know, now I am 35 years, and I went to the stadium the first time when I was 3, and it was because my dad take me, and I just felt in love, I think, immediately with the environment, the stadium, the game, and from there I just like my life. I think that will never be the same, but at that time I didn't know that, so it was just like a girl, and for me it was normal to go to the stadium, and to share that time with my dad, with my grandpa. But when time passed, and I just began to hear that for some girls, they were not allowed to go to the stadium or play football. For me, it was shocking, because in my house, it was never a problem. I mean, my parents encouraged me from the day one to play football, to watch football games, to watch. In that time there wasn't like internet, so you have to wait until the shows, TV shows, the night. And they always encouraged me to keep like watching the shows, reading magazines. My mom was the one who in the supermarket who bought me the magazines. Here in Ecuador, it's a magazine called Estadio, and it's the most important, like in football. And she always bought to me that magazine, and for me it was normal. But when you begin to grow and you see that it's not like normal as you thought, then you begin to think, okay, I have to do something, no? Because I think that everybody and every girl has the right and the opportunity, or should have it, to choose what she wants. So I think in Ecuador, I mean, the things have changed, because the time passed. We have the influence from other countries, internet, now social media, reference from around the world, especially in sports journalism, and now in sports management, or in sports industry in general. But there is just, I mean, we have to walk a long path, to make more work, more sacrifices, more visibility, because it's have evolved, and it's better than it was like 30 years ago. But it's not enough, because there are some girls that can't choose right now what they want to do, or their careers, or I mean, I think it's just very unfair, because most of the times it's about the ignorance, the lack of education, the machismo, like we said, no. But it's that, it's like more work in education, in reduce that gap. But it's hard because you have to go like a lot of generations before. Here in Ecuador, education is not, I mean, the best one. We have to improve a lot in education, in general, in the country. So I think that uh, when that happen, and we get better or improve in general in education, especially with kids, I think that things can change. But for me, it's like a special objective or a special goal in my life to make that my story or my job or what I do become a referent, not because of the fame, because but to help others, to help girls, to help boys, because I think that when boys grew up like thinking that we are all the same, they are such a big help. So it's like, that's one of my main purpose of my work. And for me it's like the best part of that. And that's why I always want to talk about this when I get an invitation, or when someone asks me about my story or my job. For me that's the best part, like if I can inspire someone to pursue what their dreams, for me it's enough.
I mean, I can totally relate from what you're saying, because I think, and I will speak this because I mean, Ecuador and Colombia, we have very like a lot of similarities in a way, and I think our societies they tend to categorize a lot and normalize things, and in a way, it's not only about machismo, which is a great deal because I can say so. It's also about, I don't know, for example, choosing your own career. Like, what kind of thing are you going to do to get your family to live the best way possible, for example? And in our cases, sports hasn't been that case. We tend to think that, okay, she's going to work for sports, she's going to become a sports person. They won't have much money, they don't study a lot, maybe they just choose this because they are great at athletes but they don't think a lot. I mean, there are so many stereotypes around these careers, and there is a curiosity in your pathway, because even though you were supported by your parents into choosing what you wanted, I heard about this in an interview that you had, which you were kind of lost while choosing your career. But we are always lost. I mean, we are 17 years old when we finish high school in Latin America. So how can you know what you actually want to do? And you choose a normal career, like a typical career, like a successful one in a way, which is law school at Universidad Particular de Especialidades Espíritu Santo. Could you please tell us why did you went and study this degree, and how this affected your career? I mean, how has this helped you as a communicator, for example, nowadays?
I'm a truly believer that when you have 17 or 18 years, I mean, you can't really know what you want to do. And also, you've may heard that you receive the pressure that, okay, this is what you're gonna do for the rest of your life. And it's a lot of pressure when you hear that, because you are just like a teenager, a young person who really doesn't know what you want. For me, it was a very difficult time in my life. It was around like 7 to 8 months that I really didn't know what to do with my life. Um, because when you are in high school, like you have the problem solved. I mean, you don't have to make any decision. You go to school, and the next year the same. You don't have a choice. uh, in that. But when you have to choose, for me was difficult. I mean, I was like, I want to go to study overseas. I want to go to. I remember that I applied for a university in Argentina to study communication. I mean, to study journalism. And then it began this crisis So I didn't went to Argentina. I stay here like 6 or 7 months figuring out what I want to do. And then I think that there was my first experience like with real life to make a decision. But again, I have the support of my parents, of my family, of professionals also who helped me, like not like choosing what I want to do, but to reduce this pressure, because the pressure was like on me. I mean that it's not that, because there are some cases where parents pressure to what to choose, or they want to study the same that they did. In my case, that wasn't the case, but the pressure was for me, because I didn't know what to do, and I felt that it was not right, and that I have something wrong with me because I didn't know what to choose. But at the end, I stay here. I decide to begin to get to study law, because I like it. I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. And at the first, it was just like, okay, I'll study some, or start to study to do something. But if it's not the right path to me, I will rethink it again. And so that was like the deal with my parents. But when I began to study, I made like very good friends in university, and things began to be I mean, to go better. And then when I realized, like 2 years after, that I said this is not for me, because I mean, Maria, here in our countries, I mean, the system is, when you are a lawyer, is not easy, and there is not like, well, it depends on the specialization that you choose. But when I began to make some practice, yeah, in the real life, I said, okay, this is not for me. So I talked to my parents, and I mean, this is a parenthesis, but I want to thank them, because they were so patient with me. But then I say, okay, this is not for me, so I want to go to Spain to study. And I began the application, to Universidad de Navarra in Spain. But when I want to, like, convalidate what I have studied here, there, it was just like nothing. I will have to, I have to start all over again the career. So I said, I don't know. And so I took the decision that I will finish to study law, because I was very young. I mean, I got my degree when I was like 23 or 24. Top. So I finish here, and when I finish, I immediately say, I want to work in communications. This is my thing, and I want to do that. So then I began to work in Ecuavisa, which is a TV channel here, one of the most important ones. So I just like, then I began to do what I want. And after that, the possibility to do my, or study my master in Barcelona. So that was like, and also I think that this story, or my story, can help, and I kind of use it to, when I talk to my nephews, with my cousins, which have like, sons of 16, 17 years, and I see myself in them. And and I really think or believe that when you have 17 or 18, it's not, I mean, it's not to have a pressure to choose something, when you hear all the time that this is what you're going to do the rest of your life, because it's not true. Sometimes you can study a career, and you end like working in other stuff, or you don't know, like, which life have prepared for you. And I think that, at least here in Latin America, kids should have like a better preparation in their skills, in what they are good, uh, to choose really what they want to study. So there's a lot of things to change, and I believe that after that experience I developed like a lot of skills, but because I realized that I need them to do what I really wanted to do. So that's my story. But yeah, I'm a lawyer. And you say that what the help of being a lawyer in my career, it's huge. I think that me as a lawyer have like a different perspective. And nowadays the sports law, it's a very big industry, and it's different when you have like your law analysis from some football topics, because you can have like a different point of view, because sometimes you understand things that other journalists or communicators don't understand, because they don't know about law. So it's a very good complement. Personally, it's like also the thing that I really like to love to read, or the critical thinking. I mean, you're maybe more analytical, and I really like the sports law also. I mean, I have thinking in some in some, if I have some time to specialize or study something related to that, but I don't know yet. But I have known like a few lawyers specialized in sports law, and I think it's really really amazing. Here in Ecuador, there are no it's not like that big industry, maybe like it's in Europe yet. But I think that it's a specialization in the sports industry that are very required. I mean, for everything, or for almost everything, you need a lawyer.
Exactly. And as you said, it is growing all over the world, and we hope in South America too, because it's needed here too. That some things are swiped up, and we need more lawyers into the game. But actually, what you said, your example is so powerful, because it shows us that what in one time is that is never wrong to change careers, and you need to understand that. Of course, some people, they don't have the backup of the parents, which is difficult, but at the same time to understand that it's not wrong, and you can do it, and it's not shameful. I mean, we are here three persons that we did that, and we survived, so this is the proof. You can do it. And more than that, what you said at the end was that you used, anyway, you did the lawyer degree, and you used the knowledge and the analytics that you absorbed from that, and you apply even today. But I'm pretty sure even in your life and in your personal life, sometimes a bit of your part of the lawyer part comes up. So it's something you take something good always, and the experience that you can apply on the other hand. But actually,
And you know that sometimes when I am like talking about football, or there are some news that involve something of laws, I, there are always someone who says, okay, because my nickname is Pilu, so they say like, no, let's Pilu answer that question, because she's a lawyer, and that is she's a lawyer, and some people don't understand that I mean, I'm a lawyer, but there are some things that I don't know, because I don't practice laws in my everyday. But it's funny, because it's always like, no, you have to know that because you are a lawyer. It's just because you are a lawyer. So it's like, what? I don't know that. But it's like the perception of that people knows that have of lawyers all the time, in a positive and in a negative, because I always like, oh, lawyers are that, always I mean, always negative. So let's hope we can change that.
it's a brand that you have now. So for for the good or the bad,
Yeah.
you have.
It's all about categories. I feel the same because I am an economist, but I haven't actually done this. I'm terrible at doing, I don't know, like software programmatic models. I've never done that. And people are like, but you should know that. And how much is the GDP of the country a year? Or, I mean, of course I can relate and I know the basic stuff, but it's just about categories. We tend to put people in boxes and that's it. And we're done with
Yeah.
them.
Exactly. But you're not the example of that, Sylvia, for sure. I mean, people can call you that, but you showed us that you have different perspectives and different pathways, and we will see through this conversation. But right now, let's still talk about your educational pathway, and you showed us another face of yours. Let's see that it was very present when you were young, as you told us in the beginning regarding football and sports. So you did a master in international sports management at Johan Cruyff Institute and another master at the Autónoma University of Barcelona, this case in sports and marketing management. Why did you go all the way from Ecuador to Spain? And why taking this big step in your educational path, studying deeply the football business? Was this already a plan to bring back knowledge and experience to apply into the Ecuador perspective?
No, really, the plan the plan was that I can could stay living longer in Spain. But why I want, because I always really want to study abroad. It was like one of my goals, my objective. And there was some point in my life that I really believed that I needed to have a different experience, to leave my country, my house, like my comfort zone, and have this experience of living alone in a totally different country, different continent, the other side of the world. And it was just a challenge for me. So I took the decision, and I before that I was reading and researching about this whole new world of sports management, because in that time, here in Ecuador, I mean, there was just like 5 people, I think, who knew what was sports management. So I it was also a brave decision, because some people told me like, no, that's too new, nobody knows what's that. If you have to come back, you will not have any job. In what will you work here, and all that stuff. But at the end, I decided, I think, first because of the experience, because I really need it, and two, because I really want to learn more about the sports industry. So I think it was one of my the best experience of my life, living in Barcelona, knowing people from all around the world, living on my own. Um, for me, it was a life changing during those years. And in the academic or study field, it was amazing, because I just like realized that there were something more than just the sports journalism, which was the main thing that I have done until that moment. So the sports industry was a whole new world for me. But for me, that was the challenging part, because I have to learn from different perspective, point of view, specializations, like begin to know the entire sports industry, which until that time for me was just like sports journalism and soccer player representations. But so for me, that I mean, life changing. And I mean, that was maybe the first time that I began to think that women have to know that we also have these opportunities, and that we can also work in the football industry, not just as players or coaches, but also as the one who were behind the desks. So it was very, very important for me.
And regarding this academic part, I mean, we are never closing topics in Tugal's podcast. We're talking all the time about similar things, I mean, throughout the questions, but there is a common feature about yourself, which is that you're always studying. You're always preparing yourself. And I mean, you just go to your LinkedIn and you have like this course and this course and this specialization and this master. And in a way, I think that that is important to portray here, because there must be a reason on why you keep pushing yourself outside your workplace, outside the things that you need to do. I mean, your routinary duties, because you have done, I don't know, like creative writing, orthography, I don't know, communication. Could you please tell us about why this is important, and especially what kind of skills do you think that communicators need now to compete in the labor market?
I it's funny because my dad always said to me that if I could have like all the money that I need and not to work, I just study all day. I mean, I love to study, I love to learn. I know this sounds very very nerd, and but from since I was a girl, I really love to study, to read. um I mean, I think it's not enough to know like the basic stuff that everybody knows. So I like to I mean, nowadays I think there are no excuses to learn something, because you have all the courses, all the videos, everything you want online. I mean, just one click away, literally. And also free courses. I mean, the most important universities in the world, they have just like this Coursera app, and you can learn from Harvard, from Yale. So I mean, that like 10 years ago was impossible. So I think that now, if you don't take advantage of that, I mean, the responsibility will be on you. And I think that people have to keep studying, to keep make. I mean, when we go to university or schools, there are some things that you won't learn in a career, some skills. So you have to develop by yourself. I mean, when I have some conversations or talks with students of journalist students, I always said that, I mean, the career will teach you the general picture of journalists, but then you have to look and to find your own path, your own style, what you really want to do, and which skills do you need to perform. I mean, you can't just say, okay, I went to university, I got my degree, and I'm ready to for the rest of my life I won't have to study. That's not true. I mean, we are learning every day, and we have to, I mean, in the communication world, now you have to develop all the digital skills that you can, no matter what age are you. So that for a start, all the things in digital, in social media, I mean, at least the basic stuff you need to know. And then the skills of also how to communicate with others, uh, talking, writing. You said about the courses. I like also to write, and for me it's very important to write like very good. No, I mean, the least mistakes that I can make in grammar, in punctuation. I think that a journalist can have those mistakes. I mean, you can be a journalist, and when you read a text of that you have wrote, it's just like a mess, and you don't understand anything. It's that for me, it's not for a journalist. You can be that. And there are also the skills of how you communicate your ideas, because there's a lot of journalists who knows a lot and have studied a lot, but then you have to learn how to communicate that in the best way, gain the credibility of people who hear you, who read you. So it's a lot of skills, but I think that now you can learn online or in courses, and you have all the opportunities to be a better communicator. For me, now there are no excuses not to be the best version of you in anything that you want to do, not just communicators or journalists. But for me, now you have done excuse to be the best, and I mean, to be the best on what you do, and the opportunity to continue studying, knowing people that can help you, and that for me, it's like I said before, when some student ask me something, for me it's just like a, it's an honor, because I think that there is my possibility or my opportunity to translate or communicate my knowledge directly to someone who will really appreciate and can learn from that. So yeah, education, and for me it's one of my most important like things, and I hope that I continue studying like for a lot of years. And also I mean, teaching is, it's also a thing that I really love. I have been a professor in schools, in universities, and also giving some talks that they ask me, and have in front of you an audience. It's really amazing. I know that some people will be so nervous and they hate speaking in public, but there's also a thing that you can learn. I mean, now you can learn how to communicate in public, all the skills that you need, all the tips that you can receive and learn. So that's one of the challenging things also, because like I said, I may know a lot, but if I don't know how to communicate or translate to others, it will be
Exactly.
useless.
And I agree, Maria agrees too. I'm pretty sure she was nothing, but it's exactly that. And there are no excuses to not be the best, or the best you in everything that you do. As you said, you have everything available, and education is key for everything, for professional life and for personal life, because you learn both skills and you can complement. But actually, everything that you said already answers a bit of the next question. Because if you prepare yourself and study yourself a lot, this is the perfect way to perform what we will be talking about, because it's exactly one of the things that you do. Not only you need to know what you're talking about, but actually you also need to react immediately to some things that can happen. And this is one of your different roles that you have, the huge amount, let's say that. And this was actually one of your first jobs as a commentator for La Radio Redonda, a role you are still performing from time to time for CNT Ecuador and Radio Caravana. So, how do you prepare to comment on a match? And in your experience, are there still a long way to achieve equality in this specific area in sports?
Yeah, well, when I took the decision to become a sports journalist and work in this industry, um, I mean, I wasn't that maybe aware of the challenges that a woman has in this career or in this industry. But at first you really need to be clear in your values, in your capability, and in who you are, because yeah, and this is, it's not a secret that here, and I think in the majority of countries, women are always, not always, but sometimes used like only because of their how they look or their bodies, especially in the sports journalism, television. But that's something that the only ones who can change it are also women. I mean, with the education and preparation that we have just talked a minutes ago, and knowing your value, your personal value. I mean, you have to set some boundaries that no job in the world will be over that, or on top of that boundaries, because it's not worth it at all. So that for a start, and when you have that clear, people begin to respect you, to respect your as a person, and obviously as a professional. But you have to gain that respect, because of the knowledge that you have. Because for women, it's always like the prejudice that the women don't know about football. I mean that, and people nowadays think that. So you always, when you are in the journalism, you have to be aware that people, or the first thought that they have when they hear you or they watch you, is that okay, there is other woman that doesn't know about sports. So for women, it's, I mean, and this is, it's not a complaint, and I'm not a victim, but for women it will always be harder, because it's like the society puts a pressure that we have to prove that we know, and with men, that don't happen. I mean, if it's some men make a mistake, it's just like okay. But if a woman make a mistake, it's just, oh, it's because it's a woman, she doesn't know anything. What is, she's there because the TV show owner or the TV station manager knows her, or okay, or worse things that you can hear. So that for a start, for begin, and in my case, I think that I've gained the respect of the people I have worked for, because of that, because of my personality, because of my knowledge, and because I really like to like set the rules clear from the beginning. So I think that's the most like important advice I can give to girls that are studying or want to be a sports journalist, that there's no job in the world. I mean, it could be ESPN, but it won't be worth if it's cross your personal boundaries. I mean, what you believe that are your values, and because you know what, the time that you let to cross that boundary, there's no like turning back. So it's important to have that clear. And in my path of a sports journalist, I always I mean, I'm still a sports journalist. I always would say always, every day I work for Los Comentaristas, which is the radio program that I'm now, and it's, it's, they will talk a little more about Los Comentaristas. But being in a show that is the most important one in the country, in that time in the mornings, I mean, in our frame, it's just a very big challenge in my career. I mean, a challenge in knowledge, in exposure, in a different ways. But I really appreciate all the radio stations that they gave me the opportunity. You mentioned La Radio Redonda, I Cerré, which is another radio, the magazines, every single opportunity that I have, it will I always be grateful with that people, because it's like a part of who I am right now. And because I learned, like you said, a lot in the professional way, but also in the personal way. So that is, for me, it's priceless.
Yeah, and this is one of the best things that we can take right from the professional parts, and to the personal, and also the people that we have with us. It's actually something that we can take forever. But actually, now let's talk about something that you already mentioned and explained before, and you already told us that you specialized yourself on this. But actually, this is something that right now we can have, or we had a way of writing. In this case, we are talking about writing. We had a way of writing, and we are always developing through generations, through times. So you have also performed as a columnist for Studio Football and Diario La Nación. How hard is it to connect with modern audiences and younger generations through writing? Please tell us about the magic of writing these pieces compared to audiovisual contents, because they're very different.
Yeah, I mean, well, the first thing that I want to know and to let people know is that when you want these kind of opportunities, you have to search at them. I mean, in, when I wrote for Studio Football or for Ecuador or for La Nación, I went there and just like knocked their doors and said, okay, I want to write for you, because I really want to know if what I write was the thing that people want to read, and I want to know that that I can do it, because I, like I told you, I like to write, but I haven't like done it in a while. So different experience, it's totally different to connect with someone through writing and reading than, like you said, like visual or audiovisual media. But I mean, I think that first of all, you need to be like confidence in that that's the thing that you want to do, that you believe in what you write, and also that you are good doing at that. I really do it. I really did it because I enjoy it. I really like it to make research and tell stories from my point of view, and also because I think that when you write, it will be like forever there. So it's like you said it and you said it. I mean, you can take it back because once it is published, that's it. But also because I think that at least here in my country, people need to read more. They need to learn more, and if they love football as they do, there's a big opportunity that they can read you and they can learn from what you write. So for me, I mean, I write because I really love it. But if someone out there like can learn from what I write, for me it's the best. It's the best part. But I insist, I will do it even though no one reads me because I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the writing part. And nowadays I haven't write in a while, so there's one of my things that it's like I want to write again. I don't know if publish, because it will depend on the magazines or the media, or maybe my own blog. That's also another project that I'm thinking. But I write just because of because I like it. So I don't know. I'm working right now on my personal branding, like a whole new strategy and all that. So maybe one of the things that I will do, it's like a blog or a web page where I can publish what I write. So that's one of the projects that I have in mind.
I mean, I was thinking about what you say about doing something even though no one will read it. In our case was like that, Katia, right? When we started this, we started recording without getting to know our audiences. But no, I mean, the important part is just to keep yourself active. I think that's really huge. I mean, keep yourself researching about the topics that you like. At the end of the day, that's an investment for yourself. And I do believe that in countries like ours, there is a market opportunity into writing stories around football, around culture, around, I don't know, in Colombia, for example, cycling, that's really huge. I know Ecuador, you also have really good representatives. And we tend to learn the boring part in our schools. We like we need to read this really huge long books, and if you don't read those, you don't know anything about Spanish, or you don't know anything about language, and you get bad grades because of that. So I do believe that if we encourage different topics, maybe we will increase the amount of people interested in developing more research topics and reading. Definitely, I agree on that. But
Totally,
you're not.
totally, and I think that not just in sports, but in general, the education have to consider that, because the world has evolved, human beings has evolved, and we shouldn't be learning the same things like 100 years ago. So it's a very I mean, it's a very interesting topic to analyze, and I hope that the Latin American governments uh, do it. Now we have a new government here in Ecuador, so I want to believe that they will have that in consideration for education.
Well, let's propose. Let's send this interview to the
Yeah.
new government. Maybe we can pioneer on that. But moving a bit further into your career, Sylvia, you're never resting. You're definitely working, and I say this. We say this in Spanish. I don't know if in English this makes sense, but in 2015 you founded your own company, which is called Kirolac Sports Management. And the objective, as you stated in your page, is to contribute to sports professionalization and to develop a sustainable structure allowing integration and professionalization, and evolution of all businesses related to the sports sector. In your own
Yeah.
words, like kind of like in an elevator pitch, what is the goal behind creating this enterprise, and what do you want to achieve in the long term?
Yeah, in an elevator pitch, I think that Kirolac was created to help to professionalize the sports industry in Ecuador. And then I mean, when I create Kirolac, I have to be honest that it was because I really love the name. So I want to now here in Ecuador you have to the I mean, when you have to register your name in la super compañía sí, en la super de compañía, and so I want to be that my name, so I made the company. But the thing is that because of Kirolac, I began to do a lot of things, trying to help in this professionalization of the sports industry. And you said that I don't rest. I mean, I have like my moments, but you think that I think that the important thing is to have the I mean the things clear when you have to work, and when you need to rest, when you need a pause, and in your life, um you can't I mean lost your personal life because of your work. I tend to remember to myself that every day, because I have my family, my friends, or my personal life itself, like time for me. I'm a person who likes to read a lot about personal growing. I like to meditate, and always like seeking these topics, reading, making I mean hearing podcasts about these topics. And for me it's a good I mean the best exit to keep my balance, or at least try it, because let's be honest, I don't keep my balance every day. That's impossible. But I at least I try. I have better days, and there are some days that I don't want to do anything, just like be in my bed all day. But because I'm really tired, and I think that's important, that to rest. We all need to rest. We have to, I mean, to lower the volume of the everyday. And I have discovered that in that moments of pause, in that moments of calm with myself, I sometimes develop better ideas, of what I want to do, or what I want to change, what I don't want to do, because that's another thing that learn to say no. It's very very hard. I'm in that path. So I hope I can accomplish, but it's hard. It's hard because I'm a person, and this is since I was a kid, a little kid, because my parents have told me that I really liked to do a lot of different things. I mean, when I start to do something, I immediately think in what else can I do. And it's good and it's bad, because sometimes you need to focus in one thing, so you can get it through. But I'm learning to say no, to keep only the things that I feel that I'm able to manage, not to have a lot of things and then just like maybe I will get crazy because I don't know what to do, or just because I do it because of some compromise. That's not the idea. So this question comes perfect in this time of my life, because now I'm like organizing every aspect of my professional life. So that's why I started the personal branding thing that I told you, and I'm also working in a social media project, not in a, that it's not related to sports, but it's always a thing that I want to do. So it's still a secret because eh, I'm just thinking if I'll launch it now or maybe next year. And also, well, my sports journalism part of my career, the sports management. I'm working now a lot with the soccer, but women soccer here in Ecuador. So that's another thing that I'm doing. The sports management in general, the marketing part. I work for a club here, Orense, which is from another city, but it's in the Serie A, which is the main category here in football. So I'm the director of communications. Another challenge, because it's the first time I'm a director of communications of anything really. And well, the Conmebol challenge that also started this year as a oficial de medios. So it's a lot. So I'm trying to be as calm as possible, but that gave me the idea that I have to organize everything, and trying to be calm, and also think in what I really want to do, how I see myself in 5 or 10 years, and I want to be the owner of my own company. Or so, I mean, that's the main goal now.
I mean, Sylvia, you're kind of like describing not only myself, but I'm plenty other profiles. I mean, if you are like that, I mean, it is a feature, like a personal feature. If you're like that, I am like that, as you were mentioned. You like introducing yourself into different projects. You think that there are many things to do. For example, let's say women's football. There are many things, many ideas, many opportunities to exploit in our countries. So it's hard to say no, because there is something there and that you want to contribute, not only because of the economic incentive or professional career increase, it's just because you want to do more for your country in a way. But we were also discussing yesterday with another guest that the importance of stopping. And with
Yeah.
this COVID pandemic, I think we are all tired in a way, maybe because we're in our houses, because we have done so much Zooming, or I don't know, Microsoft Teams or whatever the platform we use. But I think it is crucial to kind of like rethink what you're doing, rethink what you want to prioritize. And in your case, it is interesting to see that you took your chance, and you create your own thing. I mean, your own company, and it's like your baby, right? In a way, it's your more important piece right now.
Yeah, and also that there's important message that it's okay. It's okay if you want to do a lot of things that as we do, like Maria, Katia, and myself. But there's also okay if you only do one thing or have one job. I mean, it depends on your personality, and in what you want to do. I mean, no, not all human beings are the same, and we have to respect that. So for me, it's okay to have different jobs, or if your job is to be your own boss, or if you don't have that goal and you want to work for someone else, for somebody else the rest of your life, it's okay too. I mean, the point is that you have to find what it's best for you, what works for you. That's the most important thing. And about the pause, yeah, it's, I mean, it's important to your work, your professional life, but that couldn't be your whole life. I mean, you can't forget you are a person with some needs that are not covered by your professional life. So you need to also develop your personal skills, and that for me it's also more important, because if you are not a good person, you won't be a good professional. That's for sure. So at first of all, you need to think in yourself as a person, and the time that you need with yourself, with your family, with your loved ones, your hobbies, your activities, what you enjoy to do outside your work. You need like uh, every time to time, you I think that all of us need to stop and rethink all these things, so we can analyze if we have done this, or in the past months we're just like consumed by our works or jobs.
Sylvia, let's use this wisdom, your own personal wisdom in these different responsibilities, roles, and your personal background to answer kind of like a rather hard question to answer in a way, which is, I mean, you have communicate, you have analyzed, you have created your own enterprise related to football business in Ecuador. What has improved in this industry in the last 10 years in your country? What can we learn, or what can we be civilized from the Ecuadorian experience to implement overseas?
First, I think that the first accomplished is that I think that a lot of enterprises here and a lot of people just already know that the sports industry it's just a lot more than sports journalism, and that in the sports industry you have different specializations. And the second thing that I will say is that people began to understand that if you want to be good at something, you need to specialize in that particular specialization of the sports industry. The professionalization of the industry will depend on all of us, and we have to like rid of the idea that if that you only need to watch football games to work in this industry. I mean, some people still believe that. I mean that I watch like 100 games a year, so I'm ready to be a football commentator, and it's not. It doesn't work like that. In my case, for example, I'm one of the very few women to commentate games, football games. Here, the women are doing another jobs like be in the field or give some statistics. But there are like here in Guayaquil, I think we are like two or three, but that's it. We are commentators in the games. So that is a very important accomplish, but it's not enough. I mean, two or three it's nothing. So we have to encourage women that they can, they will, if they are I mean they are able to learn here, uh, and have the preparation that you need. But I think that's one of the most important changes in the last years, that people began to understand and to believe at finally that you need to study, you need the preparation in the sports industry, like to take it very serious. and that's one of the most important things. But as an industry, it's a very small one. We need to develop it much more with the companies who wants to invest in sports, with the public sector who also have I mean, to lead the sports development in our country. There are a lot of things miss out yet, but the path, I think we have just begun to walk in that way, but we are babies in sports industry. I mean, when I compare with other countries, with Europe, Asia, United States, it's the difference. It's huge, but I think that at least we start to this path of professionalization, and let's hope with more education and more people interested in this sports industry, we can do it better for the next years.
I mean, when we listen someone like you saying this, from one part is sad, of course, to understand, and we already knew, but maybe people out there, some of them, they don't know the perspectives and the panoramas of every country. It's sad to know and to understand that you're still starting this path, but at the same time, it's so important to understand that people like you, that you are there working, and with through this process of development, that someone like you and others have this perspective and this idea that you have a long way to go, and the way that you need to do it through education, through having the right reactions to the problems. I mean, when we have these examples, we already know that it has everything to go for the right way. Let's see
Yeah,
how it goes.
yeah. It depends in if you see it like an advantage or a disadvantage, because it's if you see as advantage that there is a that everything is still there to be done. A disadvantage, obviously, is that it's a very new industry. You have to make your own path. You don't have the supportive that you want. There's not, an industry that give you right now a lot of money if that is your objective. But I think that it will depends on how you want to work it, and what you want to do in the sports industry, because that's another important part that I just forget to say, that when I talk to young people, I always tell them that they need to seek or to research and look what they want to do in the sports industry, because the traditional careers are like, okay, you can be a coach, an assistant coach, or a sport journalist, but there are a lot of much more opportunities and options. So I encourage them to look for those options, because we need people specialized in that particular option. So it's important also that, because there are a lot of lack of knowledge. And here in Ecuador, for example, our options of studies related to the sports industry are very limited. So that's one of the most important things, that people understand that the sports industry is much more than what you see every day in a TV show, or in a radio or digital platforms. So you have another options, and that's important just to consider.
Great explanation that you gave here, because it's exactly that. It's putting everything into perspective and giving these options to people through education, as you've been mentioned, education through all the way of this
Yeah.
conversation, and it's really true. It's the key for everything that opens the doors. But now let's go back to you and your projects. Like it's also a project. This on Instagram, you got your own space for one-on-one interviews called Conversations with Pilu Meneses. So first of all, why is this nickname about? You already mentioned before the nickname, so we want to know what this is all about, and how has this project evolved during the pandemic?
Yeah, the name is I mean, if I have to translate, it's like conversations, because in Spanish is conversaciones, which is a mix of conversations and action, and taking actions, or move to the call to action. In the in the pandemic, I really like to interview people. It's one of the things I really like the most of the journalists. um, and and I began to say, okay, this is the moment to start, because I've always have thought in starting these interviews in my social media. But when I was like locked down with in the pandemic, I said, okay, this is the moment. So one day I began to think like the name, and I like the name because it's like a mix when that you like talk to someone, but also the things that that story move can make some impact in others, so make them to do something, not just to hear but to do something. So that was the name. And then I began to I didn't have like the money to hire someone to the graphic design, and also because it was just like, let's see how it's go. So I made my own colors, designs, and I said, okay, let's do this. And I just start I invite the Barcelona coach, which is a friend of mine. And Barcelona is the most popular club here in Ecuador, football club. So it was just like a big attention, and also because everybody was in their houses, so they just connect to see the interview. And then I began to think that I want to tell different stories with these interviews, not only football. So I began to have different uh, uh, people in the space, not just football related, but communications related, and other sports related. Um, Something about psychological behavior during the pandemic. I'm a person who don't want to be just like putting into a box, like Maria said, of just a sports journalist specialized in football. So this is opportunity, the perfect opportunity to people know the guest stories, but also my story, that I can talk about another topics. So I'm really happy with the results, because I have guests that make me very proud. Last year, for example, I interviewed the actual here Ministro de Deportes, which is the person who leads the sports in the country. So it was an honor to have him, to have, Sebastián Palacios in the space. I have the guest in the best sports performance in Ecuador, for example, Daniela Arquea, Carla Heredia, Jackie Factos. So knowing their stories and support them, it has been an honor as a journalist. And thanks to that interviews, I can say now that they are my friends. So that's one of the most important things in what I do. Now, for example, the next month there will be the Olympics, and they will go there. For me, it's just like a big honor. I'm so proud of them. So the possibility to know them, to talk to them, it's amazing, and to tell their success to the people, because here the media attention, it's for football. And I have the opportunity to from this space can talk or tell these stories to other people that don't know what our sports people are doing, or sports players. So it's amazing for me, and I really enjoy to interview. uh, and people now are like saying to me that I should have my own interview space in YouTube or a podcast. So I'm thinking about that with one of my best friends in journalism, and he's also a producer. So we are thinking in doing something like that. Not interviews about only football or sports, but the story behind every guest that usually they don't tell. So that's the main idea. But let's see if it results.
Well, let's already wish luck with the next podcast and your next project, another one in your life. But unfortunately, Sylvia, we're closing this interview. I mean, we have had an amazing talk, but we really want to know about your most recent job, in a way, that you posted in your social media. You already mentioned, but we are really interested into going into this deeply details about your role as media official for Conmebol Libertadores and Sudamericana. What do you do exactly there? I mean, working for a governing body is always a dream come true for many. So could you please develop a bit about this?
Yeah, the Conmebol is the organism that leads the South American football, and it was one of my most important opportunities, because I didn't. I mean, I wasn't looking for that, but the job that I realized last year in the women football national league of Ecuador as a journalist kept the kept the attention of people in the Federación Ecuatoriana de Fútbol, and they proposed me if I want to be one of the oficiales de medios para Conmebol Sudamericana y Libertadores. So in past, I think what was February, the Conmebol always like you have to make a intensive course during 3 days all day, and then you have a exam at the end of that days, a test, and if you pass that test, you are in. And there are different roles. I mean, when you work in these games for Conmebol, there are different roles. My role is oficial de medios, which is the person in charge of everything to have to do with the press and the media that will cover the game. And also and also with the press staff of each team, public relationships. I mean, it's a very very hard work, because it starts like 7 days before the match, and it's like every day you have to do something new, and 2 3 days before of the match day, uh, the work gets also more intense. And but for me it has been a really an amazing experience, because you get to know people from all around the countries in South America. You get to know the people from Conmebol. You really learn how hard and the difficulties behind every football match, uh, because you can it's the easier part is when you just like put the television on and you begin to watch the game on your television or your computer. But now I really really understand all the people you need, all the work you need to make one game, because for every game there is a different team in every country. So nowadays I value the most all the work that people in this industry do. And for me, I insist it's one of the best experience. I hope that I can continue next year, because next year it will be like la final de la Conmebol Libertadores will be here in Guayaquil. So it will be a special year for Ecuador and Guayaquil in the Conmebol Libertadores. So I hope I can stay there and work in that game. But yeah, I really love the challenge. I mean, it's a very big challenge. I was very nervous the first game. I get nervous still now in every game, but it's the only way you can learn. So let's do it.
Thank you so much, Sylvia, for these last words. Please book a couple of tickets for us for next year's final in Conmebol
Perfect. You
Libertadores.
are totally invited. But yeah, Guayaquil is here waiting for you, and I think it'll be a very very interesting. Because it's not just about the football game; it's what it represents to the city. So that's the most important part. So you are invited. You have to reach me out, and here we wait for you.
This is recorded, so we can use it after for our own profit.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sylvia. You're truly a pioneer in Ecuador and Latin America as a professional connected both with old-fashioned football through writing and commentating and to the business with your own company, Kidolac Sport Management, and your other roles as communications director and media official. We have been very, very lucky to have you to hear your whole perspective on working your path into football. And we are really, really pleased and thank you. Thank you for being here.
No, really, really thank you. This podcast was also a challenge because I know English. I made it as a bilingual person in high school and university, but it's not my main language in in my everyday. So it was a challenge, but it will be also. It's very useful because I have to this week I have to perform. How can I say, like a class in a university. So if they want to hire me and they propose me to do it in English because the course is in English, so this is perfect because I have to keep talking. So now I'm gonna hear everything in English, talk only English until that day this week. So let's see. But for me, it's really really an honor. I want to congratulate you because I know how hard it is to have this kind of projects, the support you need, the visibility that all women need that in the football industry, in sports industry, and for me, and I know that I'm sure that the rest of women thinks the same. It's very important to have this project to support us and to show, to tell our stories. And for me, the very most important thing is that girls now have women reference. That's for me, it's the most important thing. I mean, it's nothing bad. Also, it's nothing wrong to have a man reference. That's not the point, but they can watch us, watch the football players, the women behind the success, for example, of very big clubs like Chelsea. So that's the most important thing, the visibility that we have, and the girls, the empowerment that we can give to girls to try to communicate them that they can choose whatever they want, and if they want to be in the sports industry or the football industry, they have the same opportunities, the same capability as men. For me, that's the most important thing.
Well, Sylvia, for you to keep practicing your English, please, you need to follow us as all of our audiences and everyone outside hearing us in every corner of the world. Remember, you can reach out to us in social media with our media accounts on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, with the name @2goals podcast. Thank you so much and take care of all of you.